Okay, so we are live. Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to one of our live sessions. Today, we're talking about handling exams anxiety. Uh, as usual, I want to say thank you to my LSI Youth Ambassadors for the beautiful work that you do. We love you, we appreciate you. My name is Bumi Bossade. And today, like I said, we have an interesting topic. And I know some people would wonder, oh, why don't we have an adult here, a professional to talk about this topic? But I feel that sometimes we need the youth themselves to tell us and how they've been able to handle situations like that and what has worked for them. Sometimes they like to hear from, people that are like them rather than us. So that's why we're here today. So yes, let's get the ball rolling. And I would just say, everyone say a little hello and hi and introduce yourself like we do. And I would start with Moise.
Hello, everyone. My name is Louise. I just finished my second year of engineering at Mass University. Uh, yeah, hopefully I can give some good insight to exams.
Thank you, Moise. Hi, Danielle.
Hi guys, my name is Daniel. Nice to see you guys again. I'm currently finishing my last year at Bishop Bryan High School, and we'll be heading to Western University for computer science.
Yeah. Well done. Good job. And Fikun.
Hi everyone, my name is Shikun Alabi. I'm finishing my last year in high school and hopefully heading to Master for engineering.
Oh, okay. We have a lot of engineers in the house. That's great. Okay, so thank you guys once again for doing this. I know you guys are busy. You have exams, some of you have tests tomorrow, but you still have chosen to give back. So we appreciate you dearly. Now let's get into it. I've heard a lot from different people, teenagers, young adults, even parents, talk about exam anxiety. And I said I was going to put it to you guys first. That was going to be my first question. What exactly is exam anxiety? What do you understand to be exam anxiety? Who wants to take that? Go ahead, Maurice.
Yeah, so I guess what I would describe as like exam anxiety is like when you it's the I guess the moment when you realize how important this exam could be, or you realize, oh, I'm not prepared for this, or oh, if I don't get at least this mark, it's not going to be good for whatever. It's just the moment you realize like you're either not prepared or you need to like this is very important. You have to do well in it. That's what I think it would be.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to take that? Okay, so I agree with Muiz. Sometimes, even as adults, sometimes we get anxious, right? When we are working on something, we have invested our time and effort, sometimes even interviews, right? We have an interview and we've prepped so hard for that interview. And just because we're not sure of what question will be asked of us, you're just anxious. You're just a little bit, that emotion comes over you and you're thinking in your heart, okay, am I ready? Am I ready to go ahead and handle this interview? Do I think I am prepared to answer all the questions? Do I have the right answers? Are they going to like me? Are they going to employ me? So all those things come through your head at the same time, and it could create that feeling of sometimes I would use the word fear, like you're kind of scared of, okay, what is going to be the result of all this, preparation and efforts that I've put into this. So I totally agree with what you've said, Maurice. And I would then ask, has anyone ever experienced exam anxiety here? Okay, if you can go for it.
I think I experience it on almost all my exams, and then sometimes it gets worse by like blanking out on the exam, not knowing, like, because you studied and everything, you know everything before the exam started, and once you got the paper, everything just cut off. You can't answer a single question. I remember this wasn't for an exam, it was for a test, one of my calculus tests. I had to take extra time because when I got my test, I didn't know what to do. I didn't remember how to solve anything at all. So I was just staring into space.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Anyone else wants to share an experience?
Oh yeah, I could say I've also experienced it. I think of one. It's very common. I think I usually experience it when I'm not very prepared for my exams, and that's yeah. I've experienced it a couple times.
Okay. So, then if you have experiences based on what I've heard, it looks like everybody have experience, even me as an adult. I remember I was writing a professional exams recently and I'd studied. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't watching TV. I was just in my room studying and studying and studying. And it was time for the exam, and I was just like, I don't have a clue. And I even when I finished the exam, my husband was asking me how I did, and I said, you know what? I think I failed. I don't think I passed that exam because I don't think I answered anything. I was just talking down on myself, talking down on myself. And when the result came out, I think I just failed maybe 3 or 4 out of 100, right? So for you to have done that well, you should have had that confidence that I think I did average, but I was still doubting myself even after I, was able to answer all of the questions and the result came out. And I think I had a 96 or a 97, I can't remember. And all through, it was a process. There were stages to these exams, and for every stage it was like that. And it got to a point where when my husband asked me about the exam, I said I don't know what I've done. Then he said, go and sit down, you don't know what to do. I'm sure when the result comes out, you have. So sometimes it's just a natural human feeling to actually feel that, you know what, I am not sure of how far I've done and what I've done in this exam. Is it going to be a good one, the result, or not? So, yes, I think we all can relate. So, how have you guys been able to handle situations like that when it occurs to you that, okay, I'm not sure with these exams? I think I am a little bit scared going into these exams or these tests. What did you do? If you can go for it.
I would say find someone you can talk to, someone who can cheer you up before the exam. I always talk to my mom before any of my tests because I always feel like I won't pass. She's like, Fikun, you're always scared. Don't be scared. You're always scared and you end up getting like a 90 something. So why are you afraid? We're Christians, so obviously we believe in God and we believe that, He will definitely help you, especially if you have studied and you are well prepared for a test or an exam. So have somebody that you can express your feelings to. Do not bottle them up because that only makes them even more. So make sure you let all that anxiety and fear out by sharing your feelings to someone.
Amazing. That's a beautiful tip. Daniel?
I was gonna say that I think the best way is to prevent it in general. I think one of the most common reasons of people getting exam anxiety is because of lack of preparedness. So I think like one of the most important ways to prevent like you having it in general is just to make sure that you're prepared. I mean like if you studied and put your full effort into this, you shouldn't have that fear because you know that you've tried your hardest, right? And then even if you still have exam anxiety, like Fico said, it's always good to have somebody you talk to. Preferably, it's always better to talk like a teacher or somebody who's more mature. Because sometimes students are like, "Oh, yeah, we're cooked." Like, we're both gonna fail this exam. Like instead of them trying to make you feel better, they're making you feel worse by saying, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna fail too. So are you." Like not encouraging you. So it's always better to talk to somebody who has a positive mindset. So usually better maybe like a student support teacher, a guidance counselor, someone like that.
Thank you. That's an amazing tip. I totally agree with Daniel, but I want to hear what Moise have to say.
Yeah, so I completely agree with Daniel and Pekin. If I ever have an exam word about, I usually just like I talk to somebody or I try and relax, just like take a break, do other things. Of course, it's good to be prepared beforehand, but let's say you come across an exam where you know you're not completely prepared for it. What I usually like to try and tell myself is in the like it needs to I guess think of how like I guess stop to actually think how important this exam actually is. Of course, you want to do well, but it's not like it's the end of the world if you fail. So you don't get I try not to get too worked up over it because of course if you get more anxious and whatever, you're gonna at least for me, if I get more anxious, I tend to blank more or just like stop thinking. So I just try and calm down. I think of how important the exam actually is. Like it's not the end of the world if I like don't do good on it or whatever. So and then usually I just calm down and collect my thoughts, and then maybe do some last minute studying if I have to. But yeah,
Okay.
you know.
Yeah, if you can go ahead.
And one more thing is to actually sleep, because when you do all nighters the night before the exam, you're not going to feel prepared. Because even if you are very prepared, you studied like, because sometimes I study like 3, 4 days, 5 days a week in advance before the test, and then the night where I'm recapping everything, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to stress about this. Just put this aside, go to sleep. If you have time the next morning, review everything and then start to make sense. Because when you stress your brain out, it won't, you know, turn out good at the end. So definitely get some sleep.
That's very, very important. Like I'll talk about that. I would also add my thoughts to what Fikon had said, but I want to start with what Daniel mentioned. I think it's a very, very important advice, suggestion, tip, because if you are having anxiety or you're a little bit scared before writing an exam or a test, and then you speak to someone that is also experiencing the same thing you're experiencing, you're only going to make the situation worse. Because believe me, the person you are speaking to, which will normally probably be your friend or your classmate, also at that time needs someone to reassure them. So if you're going to someone like that that is already scared of the exams and you're scared of the exams as well, then both of you are actually in the same boat. So it's very difficult for that person to encourage you or tell you the right thing that you need to hear or give you the right advice. So I would say that it does please don't do it. Don't do it, because it would not work well. It would only make it worse for that person. If you're going through anxiety, then you're speaking to a friend that is also having same issues or probably having same issues. It's just going to compound what you're going through. It's going to make you feel a little bit more like you're not prepared at all. So I would suggest that, like Fikun had said, it is important that you look for someone that you can speak to, someone that can reassure you, someone that can tell you you've done your best, just like Moise have said, you've studied hard, you've done your best, go for it. Someone that can build that confidence that you already have, because the truth is you already have the confidence in you because you've studied. And that is what is required of you if you're planning to write an exam. All you need is someone to help you build that confidence and reassure you that you've done everything that you need to do. And all you need to do is go into the exam hall, have that confidence, and write the exams. So it's important that you look for that person. It could be your teacher, it could be your parent, it could be your auntie, it could be your uncle, but somebody that you can speak to. And also, 100%, I feel the sleeping part is very, very important. It's very, very important, especially for you young adults, for the youths. Uh, Normally, they would say that you need to sleep 8 hours in a day. And the more you sleep, it helps your brain grow. It helps you with, relaxing and all that. So it's important to make sure that you get, especially when you're preparing or you're writing an exam, to get the at least 7 hours sleep before the exams. And now sometimes people will say, okay, and I agree. For me personally, I am not a long sleeper. So I would normally probably not sleep 8 hours every day because that is the way I'm built, right? But for an average youth, it is important that you have a good sleep, let your brain rest depending on the style that you're used to. Some people are used to studying all through the night, and they will still go in the morning and write the exams and don't feel tired. Some people, the minute you study all through the night, in the morning, you cannot do anything. You're just kind of dead. And like, you can think well, you can reason, and you're just so tired. So just try and watch, monitor the kind of person you are when it comes to studying, when it comes to reading, when it comes to preparing for exams. And I think it would help. Everybody cannot have the same style or pattern of studying. That I have even, I've realized as an individual myself. So it's important that we learn to know what works best for us and we follow that pattern. So yes, I totally agree with what everyone have said. So I think the next question, we kind of have answered it somehow, but I would still put it out there in case there's one or two things that you feel we're missing or we haven't touched on. And that is, what other tips do you think it's available that you've tried and have worked for you while trying to prepare for exams or tests at all? If any other thing comes to mind, please, you can share with us. Anyone? Go ahead, Fikun.
My advice is to always study with someone. I'm always studying with my friend. Even after this call, I'm going to call my friend so we can study together for our test tomorrow, because it just helps you have someone else that you can maybe explain it to see if you truly understand the topic that you are studying for. And maybe you may not remember you reading it, or your friend may have said it, and then you remember your friend saying it as you were studying, and then you remember on the exam. So just have that partner or like a group of people that can help you while studying.
That's amazing. That have always worked for me when I was in the university, having to have a group of people to study with, because it helps retention and it also helps you, kind of, okay, do I really understand this? And sometimes I remember when I was writing my bar exams here in Canada, we had a group where everybody would choose a topic, and your work was to go and study that topic and come back and kind of lecture your group on the topic. So you're teaching them. So everybody takes turn in teaching a particular topic, and it made it easier for us understanding, what exactly the topic is all about. So yeah, Fikun, that's an amazing tip. I totally agree with you. Any other tip that we want to share? Go ahead, Maurice.
So yeah, this actually is kind of related to what Auntie and Fika were saying. But one mistake a lot of people might make when studying is that those kind of like read notes and memorize things, which is like they're inputting information to their brain. But for the test or exam, you're usually outputting that information. So the best way to study is to like output the information you learn. So like as Piku said, like you're teaching someone, you're like outputting that information, practice tests or practice questions. You're like actively practicing applying that knowledge that you have instead of just reading notes, memorizing, and then leaving it there. Because then when you get to the test, if you've just been memorizing, you haven't really practiced applying those pieces of information. So like just applying, like practicing like outputting, or like doing practice questions, teaching someone, it's like using that information and like applying it usually helps like study a lot better than just reading things only and just memorizing it. But yeah, that's something I found helpful.
Okay, thank you, Maurice. Daniel, do you have anything to say? No? Okay. I wanted to ask, I know that you guys do a lot of open book exams. What's your thought about it? Does it, when you have to write an exam and it's open book, does it in any way, do you feel better when you're writing an open book exam versus when you're writing an exam where you don't have a clue what's going to happen? Go ahead, Maurice. Hi, Tolu. Hello.
So yeah, I haven't had an open book exam in a while, but usually we do get like a formula sheet at least or something. So, but I'll speak to both. When we have open book exams, usually I do feel better because it's like I have all the information there now. It's just a matter of finding what I need to use. Uh, there can be like some worry that like because it's open book, maybe the questions are more difficult. But personally, I think if all the information is already there, you don't have to worry about like trying to memorize or forgetting something. Uh, but yeah, I think usually open book generally makes me and at least other people I've talked to feel better for the exam.
That's yeah, go ahead, Daniel. You want to say something?
Yeah, I can add on to that. Like, I rarely have open booking. I think I've had one, which was a chemistry like quiz. And that was the last one I've had like this whole school year. But yes, I generally believe that like obviously like because it is open book, as long as you understand what to do, like it gives you different examples on your notes. You know how to start it. So open book for sure definitely helps. But I feel like it's always better to be prepared because rarely do you ever get open books. I was probably my only one I've had in grade 11 and 12. Since then, maybe like my grade 10 or grade 9 culminating.
Okay. So it's good to always be prepared for your exams, whether it's open book, whether it's you going in there and just studying and using whatever you studied. For me personally, maybe it's because I'm an adult and my brain is a little bit I don't want to use any bad word, but for me, open book is more work because the fact that I have to start looking, for where the answers are rather than exact what I have already studied and just kind of answer the question to the best of my ability. I found that most times when I have to do an open book exam, I spend time looking for the answers with the materials that I have. And before I know it, 40 minutes, 30 minutes is gone and I'm yet to answer, one or two of the questions. So most times when I have open book, I just ignore and I try to use my brain based on what I've studied. And if there's something that I'm missing, then I go back to the open book to kind of double confirm or check for the answer. So I think it's there's no one size fit all for it. It depends on the style that you're comfortable with. Tolu. So we're talking about exam anxieties. If you've had an experience and how you were able to handle it. So is there any tip or any experience you want to share with us?
From what I've heard everyone say, like pretty much the same. Prepare as much as you can. Take breaks because at the end of the day, like you can't kill yourself over one exam, one test. Um, Talk to someone that you can confide in, a parent, a teacher, a older peer, or someone. Um, if you're religious, pray. I've found myself in front of God multiple times before an exam just to ask for retentive memory and to like everything that I've studied so I can apply it to the exam. So yeah, very
Thank
good
you
tips
so
for
much.
everything.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's amazing. Pray. Whatever faith you believe in, whatever God you believe in, it's also good, to pray about it and sometimes it's just praying that whatever fear you're having at that time or the anxiety go away and you'll be shocked that you just suddenly feel that calmness and you're able to go head on and deal with whatever questions you have before you. So yes, please, that's another very amazing tip that Tolu just gave us. And I have one last question, and that question I will put to everybody. So, as a parent, like I said at the beginning, I know that this things does exist because even as a parent, I do encounter it. I go through it, and I know some parents also do go through it as well. So, how do we help? How do we come in situations like that? What are the things that you expect from us? How can we make it easier for you? How can we help? So I would Kikun, you have your hands up, so please go ahead.
I feel like you just need to know your child and how they, respond to stress. For me personally, I would not want my mom constantly checking up on me, maybe like once in a while, because like that constant checkup creates more pressure for me. Make it like reminds me, okay, I have this to do now, and then I'm more stressed about it. So just know your child. Maybe your child needs you to be there with them, while they're studying, or just constantly checking up. Okay, how is your study going? Are you doing okay? Do you need my help? Do you need to take a break? So yeah, knowing how your child responds to stress and pressure could help greatly.
Thank you. Tolu, then we'll go Daniel, then Moise.
Yeah, I really liked what Fiku said. Me personally, I don't like it when my parents hover when I'm studying. It does create more anxiety for me. So, for my advice to parents would be give your child space, but also create an environment that is comfortable enough for them to approach you when they need to talk. And yeah.
Thank you. So, before Daniel go ahead to speak, just to quickly clarify, Tolu, you just mentioned creating an environment, right? That is conducive enough for them to be able to speak to you. How do we as parents, what do you expect from us when it comes to creating that environment?
Just acknowledgement, I guess. Like, I'm seeing my younger sister as she finishes high school, and I see how my parents relate to her. They understand that she is in a difficult period in her life right now, and just the verbal acknowledgement that, oh, I see how hard you're working. I understand it's hard, but you're doing a great job. Just keep motivating, and then, but also keeping a little bit of distance so that it doesn't feel too claustrophobic for the child, but not too much of a distance so the child can feel that they're able to approach you as a parent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That was an amazing contribution. Fikun, Daniel, please, I'll get to you. Fikun, are you
Just to add one
okay?
more thing to what she said, to like parents who have younger kids, I would say start now. Don't wait for them to get into high school or like grade 11 when things pile up. Start to create that environment now. That's all I have to say. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel.
I was gonna say that I think another thing that's very important for parents that they need to teach their children how to embrace mistakes. I think a problem, especially in the African household, is that it's not okay to make mistakes. Oh, you bring back a test, you got a 97. Oh, where's the other 3%? Like it's always like it's as much as you always want your kid to do excellent, you also have to teach your child that it's okay to make mistakes. Because then once your child makes a mistake, because you admit it, seem like a mistake is so bad, it puts so much pressure on them. Like they feel terrible after making a mistake. So I think it's something you have to start when you're young. That instead of saying making mistakes is wrong, or you can't fail, or you can't do something wrong, instead of embracing that mentality, the mentality should rather be how can you learn from mistakes. That's okay to make mistakes. We're all young. We're always learning. So when you make a mistake, it's not rather you made a mistake, you do something wrong. It's rather okay, you made a mistake, you understand what you did wrong and how you're going to learn from it. I think that's one of the major issues with people, especially like I could say with myself or other students who get exam anxieties because, oh, even though I feel prepared, if I get two questions wrong, my mom's going to be mad at me. If I don't do
Why
good,
did you call your mom? Why not your dad?
if I don't get a question right, oh, someone's gonna be mad, this and that. So I just personally believe that it's always better to teach students or teach your child how it is, like how like it's okay to make mistakes. And just like you have to, and like just like what Fiku and Tolu also said, the environment is very important. Like sometimes, like I know me personally, I don't like studying in my room a lot because I have like there's not even distractions, but like there's also the same place where I'll play my video games, same place I rest. So I like to be out of my room. So sometimes maybe like if your son or like your child is coming home from school and you see them downstairs studying, rather than you going downstairs and like watching TV downstairs, maybe you go to your room and you watch TV there instead. So your son is comfortable staying at home to be able to study. That's another thing. That's like what everybody else said makes a lot of sense. Like even just understanding your child. Like I said, some people don't like to be hovered, but there are also children who get distracted very easily and have to be monitored on a consistent basis, or students who like that pressure from their parents. So it's just you have to understand your child and make sure that they know it's okay to fail. Because if students know it's okay to make mistakes, as long as they've put in that hard work, they shouldn't feel that anxiety because they know that, okay, I've worked hard. I know that my mom and dad know that I've worked hard. So if I do bad on this test, I'll just have to get better and learn from my mistakes rather than, oh, I'm scared. Now my parents gonna get mad at me.
Thank you so much, Daniel. While you were talking, I just remembered while I was growing up in an average Nigerian home, we used to, now that I'm grown, we used to say that all our parents were top of a class. They were always the A's and always the first and second position. So who were the people that were, the last people in class? Who were the people that were the people that had the 15th position and the 30th position? Because all of them, they are the first. When my mom is talking to me, she's telling me, when I was in school, I was first. My father would say he's first. My friend's father will say, it's like, who exactly are now the people that failed the class, right? So I totally understand where you're coming from as an African parent, and sometimes it's not really 100% our fault. It is the way we were brought up. It is the things that we're used to. So for us, it's trying to unlearn what we already know to kind of fit into what is right and what is obtainable at your stage and all that. So amazing contribution. Thank you so much, Daniel. Maurice.
Yeah, I agree with like what everyone's been saying so far. Tolu said, I think it's important that parents create that environment. So like first of all, I'm kind of like the opposite of Daniel. When I need to study, I just lock myself in my room and just focus because I like to study by myself before talking to people. But my parents usually they'll like be asking me to do a bunch of chores. But when they know that I have to study for something, they'll leave me alone. Just like let me do my thing. And I really think it's good because especially because like after the exam, even if I do bad or whatever, they at least knew I put in the effort. So they're not like, oh, you didn't get 100 or whatever, because they at least saw and knew the amount of time and effort I put in. So I think like Daniel said, that's really really important too. That they're not expecting like super great things every single time. But yeah, I think the environment is important. As Tolu said, parents not of course it's good to have high expectations, but it's not every single time that they can happen. But yeah, so far I've agreed with what everyone has said overall.
Thank you so much, Maurice. And just to quickly say this on behalf of parents as well. Sometimes we are not mind readers, right? We're not oracles, we're not God. So it might be good when you're able to have that conversation with your parents as well. You have an exam, you think you want to be left alone in your room. Just like Maurice have said, you go to your parents and say, oh, mom, dad, I have a quiz coming up. I'm going to be in my room. Can you please not call me in the next 2 hours because I want to study? And I'm sure that there's no parent that would hear that from a child and now at that time decide to say, okay, Bumi, go wash the dishes. I'm sure that wouldn't happen. Or situations where you feel you're overwhelmed and you need an extra help, or you just need them to make you feel that you are on the right path. You can also walk up to your parents and say, mom, I think I'm overwhelmed. Dad, I think I'm overwhelmed. I think I've been studying, I'm not understanding, or I think it's a lot for me right now. And I'm sure that if you go to your parent with such as well, your parent will be able to help you, ask you, okay, where do you want me to help? Where do you want me to come in? And also, provide you with those suiting words as well. So it's a 50-50 thing, right? You have expectations of us as parents, but you also need some time to communicate those expectations to us so we know that this is what you require of us at that time. So thank you so much, you guys. like I said, I know some of us have tests and quiz and a lot of things to do uh, in the week and later today as well. So I want to appreciate you for spending this time having to have this conversation with me. And I want to wish you all the best for those that are writing tests and quizzes in the week. And also, congratulations to all the new university admissions and acceptance. And yes, thank you so much for joining the session and have an amazing, amazing week, everyone. If we don't have any other thing to add, then I would say it's a good night from us. Okay, bye, everyone.
Bye.
Uh,
Thank you.